What it do, comic babies? I'm Bunkmaster B, and today we're sitting down. I'm trying a new setup. I'm seeing if it works any better. I don't know. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it makes my life a little bit easier. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we're talking about the newest collaboration from one of my favorite creative teams that's putting out content over the last few years. And that's the team up of Matt Kindt and Hilary Jenkins. So Matt Kindt, at this point, I don't know that he's a household name. I don't know if I walked up to my mother-in-law and said, "Matt Kindt, right?" She'd be like, "Right!" But he's behind a number of different series. He did Department H. He did... I'm just going to look up over here over my shoulder. Where the heck did he go? Did Ninjak for Valiant. He did Crimson Flower. I mean, he's been doing a ton of indie work. Spy Supreme, Super Spy, ton of great work. I was just looking at it over here as if you can see it. It's off camera, so you can't, but I can. And oftentimes he works with the team of Tyler Jenkins and Hilary Jenkins. They're a married couple. Tyler does the line work for it, pencil and inks, and his wife Hilary does the coloring. And she works in a variety of different mediums, and I really love that team up together, especially Hilary's coloring. She's worked in watercolors, she's worked in gouache. See, Josh, I learned to pronounce it, gouache. In one of the issues, she actually did oil pastels, which I'd never seen before in a comic. And I've really come to love that dynamic team together. And their newest series is coming out right now from Dark Horse, and that is called Hairball. Now, this is a horror story about a cat. And I think that they have been hitting the absolute perfect interplay of cute cats being jerks and absolutely terrifying codependent relationships. Let's talk about it. This is a horror story involving a cat. And I have to assume that Matt Kindt is himself a cat owner, because it's such this perfect encapsulation of all of the sort of passive-aggressive behavior that you get from a cat, and everyone just kind of says like, "Oh man, cats are jerks," with a legitimately chilling horror story. So we open up, and we don't know what's happening. We see some adoption papers being signed. We see her being taken home, and there's a cat that's watching them. All the while she's going on and describing something that happened that's pretty horrific. She talks about the smell of burning hair. And we see, after she's fallen asleep, the cat licks her, bites her. We get a pretty deep bite and marks her. And we get these little creepies that go into her. And then the cat ends up going out. And we see that the little girl is talking to someone. And what we end up seeing here is the story of an adopted family who takes this little girl in. And I think the idea is that they know that there's something wrong with their relationship, and they're hoping that a kid is the answer to it. And spoiler alert, it never is. And they bring her in. She's resented by the dad. It's, one of those, well, it was the mom that wanted you, and I only wanted you because you're never around. Very dysfunctional family relationship that she's stuck in the middle of. She's being yelled there. And all through it, this black cat named Bestie is the one who is the only one who's there for her. And the fact that the cat is named Bestie, I think is pretty telling there, because I think I get the sense, and we're only 2 issues in, but I get the sense that it's also about kind of toxic relationships, and not necessarily romantic ones, but it can be, in this case, a best friend, especially in a kid situation who is telling her in his own way that he's the only one who's looking out for her, and that if only they were the only ones that were there together, that they would be happy. And so it starts out with just pretty minor cat stuff. We see a hairball get hawked up on some important business papers for the dad, and he gets pretty angry, and we get some really, really menacing shots. Most of the story is told in this kind of 2x2 grid style that we see right there. And again, we get just normal cat stuff, cats chewing on cords. Every cat owner has done that, except, it goes from annoying to maybe a little bit more when there's a devious intention that's there. And again, the classic cat knocking things into it. The mom's taking a bath right here. She's got this radio that's up, and the cat's looking to go ahead, and it looks like the radio might get dropped into the bath, and it goes out the window. But you get a sense that there's more going on here. And Bestie's a cat. Bestie doesn't talk at all, but we get to see some really creepy things. Shh, we won't leave you ever. And again, just this very clingy relationship, of that cat, just on that sort of one-on-one relationship level. These divorce papers that are, we find out those were the papers that the cat hawked the hairball up on, so they're in the trash now. We see that wire from before that we saw is getting chewed and frayed, and now this hawked up piece is going up there. Really just very, very creepy imagery. Some pretty you can just look at that right there. Very, very menacing. Really, I'm enjoying quite a bit of the work here. I wish they didn't adhere so much to that strict 4x4 grid style. I wish they let Tyler and Hilary Jenkins kind of play with a little bit more. And in issue 2, we do get one splash page that's very effective. But so far, this is shaping up to be an amazing story and one of my favorite that is on my pull list right now. So that's Hairball right there. So at the time that I'm recording this, there have been 2 issues. 1 that have come out right now. This is going to be a total of 4 issues that are going to come out together. You can see that this is, come on camera, $5.99. They are oversized. They're not a perfect bound, but they are a thicker comic, which is why you're getting that, and which is why they're only 4 issues. Although recently the team of Kindt and Jenkins have been working a lot on 4-issue series. I'm going to talk a little bit in a future video about some of their team ups together and kind of go over those stories. So we'll kind of go over that there. But I'm really loving what we're seeing here. Typically horror stories like this, they wait until October to come out, but this has been such a breath of fresh air in my pull list right now. This is one of the books that, gets right to the top of my read list. Like everybody else, my to-read pile is just continuing to grow and grow and grow and grow. But this is one that continually gets read. And, there's only 2 more issues left. It's going to continue for me. I would definitely check this out if this sounds at all up your alley. If you're a fan of horror comics, if you're a fan of cats in general, if you're a fan of, exploring neglectful parents, codependent relationships, toxic relationships, this book hits on a lot of different things and all does it through sort of the interplay of silly cat antics. And I think that's a hard line to toe, but I think they've been doing it really well. There's 2 issues left to come out. We'll see if they finish, but I've got a feeling that they will. I did look on Amazon, and there's an absolutely beautiful looking deluxe that's going to be coming out in November. I'm a little jealous that I'm doing it in these single issues right here, because the hardcover is going to be basically the same price, and it looks beautiful. It's a die cut cover, so if you're not reading it right now, maybe hold off until that comes out. But either way, this book right here, Hairball, highly recommend you check it out. But with that, I've been Bunkmaster B. You all have been amazing. I'll catch you next time.